everyone, to the 8th annual APIDA College Day. We're so excited to have you here. My name is Michelle Okada, and I'm the Senior Career Counselor and Coordinator and Project Activity Director for Career Counseling Activities here at Sacramento State, the Sacramento State Career Center. And I'm going to pass that over to Aria.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Aria. I'm a career counselor here at the Career Center.
And today we're going to be presenting on exploring majors and careers. So we look forward to sharing more with you on that.
So we will start you off with introducing what is the Career Center. So it is a place where you can explore your values, your interests, really get to know yourself before you kind of figure out, what career path do you want to go into. We also help with the discovery and preparation piece, whether it be you know exactly what you want to go into, like nursing, or maybe you're a little bit unsure and you're like, exercise science seems kind of cool. I wonder what the career paths are there with that. So no matter where you're at in your career journey, we are here to support you. We also help you by connecting you with employers. We have our All Majors Career Fair where you get to meet different employers and really find out more about the different opportunities and internships and jobs that are available to you. We also have some online tools that you can utilize in order to get to know more about yourself. And also explore different career tools as well. And some of those we will be sharing with you as we go along. We also have different events and workshops that we put on throughout the year as well, such as this one, where you get to find out more about some of our services. And lastly, we provide one-on-one counseling and guidance as well if you need additional support. And to learn more about us, you can always visit us on the website or in Lassen Hall 1013. So speaking of majors in exploration, you're all probably really excited to try to figure out, what it is that you want to major in as you get into the university. So the definition of a major is a specific subject area that you wish to specialize in. You can utilize the catalog to explore all of the different majors that are available to you. And I will even say during, your first year or your second year, as you're taking different courses and different sections, right? Whether that be the sciences or math, a lot of general education courses that you go through, that's a great way to also discover and find out more about your interests and your values and what things are seeming interesting to you, right? So a really great way to find out more about what it is that you might want to do later. And it's totally fine if you're not really sure what you want to major in yet, but taking some of those classes can help you figure out, right, what you're interested in. And fun fact, Sac State does offer 76 bachelor's degree programs, 53 master's degree programs, and 5 doctoral degrees. So you have quite a bit of variety there, and you can always go onto the colleges and department website and also find out that way some of those that are offered to you. So now I think this is a great segue to really talk about your purpose, right? So we kind of talked about what it is that we offer, some of the different tools that you can utilize. So now we're going to jump into really finding out what your purpose is. So Ikigai is a Japanese concept that combines talent, passion, and fulfillment together to help you find your purpose. So some of these questions that you see in each of these circles are, what do you love? What does the world need? What can you be paid for, and what are you good at? And this concept is that once you kind of find out all of these answers to these questions, it really helps you find, something that is really fulfilling to you. So, for example, what do you love? Maybe you really love the environment, right? Maybe being outdoors makes you happy. Thinking about what you're good at. Maybe you're really good at explaining to other people some of the natural geographics, right? What does the world need? Maybe people, you could think about the world needs people who are really passionate about this sort of thing and can talk to people about it. So if you kind of combine that together and think about it, how can I be paid for this? Maybe you could be a park ranger, right? So it's really about combining your interests and your values together to find meaning in the world of work. So I really encourage you to do this activity on your own time to really just do some reflection, and it can then help you find out, what you want to major in or what kind of career path you want to go into. So really cool concept and activity that you can utilize. And I will pass it on to Michelle to talk about the career development cycle.
Yeah, so leading to that, the career development is really a lifelong process for incoming students and for throughout their life. And we think of this in a few ways. One is that, many times people might start on any part of this circle that you're seeing on the screen, from know yourself, explore your options, decide, prepare, and engage, gain experience, enrich, and adapt your career. However, sometimes it can be helpful to start at that know yourself, and that really includes aspects such as interests, so things that you enjoy. We talked a little bit about that in the last slide, but also skills or natural gifts that you have, as well as values or things that bring meaning to your life. So knowing yourself can really help us to understand, what is it that I'm seeking? What would make my world of work a little bit more fulfilling? What do I want to go and do 40 hours a week, right? And so this gives you kind of a sense of aligning it with what the world might need. And understanding what the world might need, it can help to do some exploration. And that includes exploring and researching different pathways. So, what is it that I could do if I decide to pursue this type of major or this path? What is involved with this type of work, right? And so that research process is really important. Also, deciding, preparing, and engaging. At some point, we have to make at least our first decision, right? And the reality is that we might have multiple decisions throughout our lifetime in the different types of roles or careers that we do. However, it's important, right? We still want to keep that open opportunity, be open to different potential opportunities that exist, in addition to taking those steps. And in addition to that, in order to do that, oftentimes we also need resources, right? We need to learn how to write a professional resume, a professional cover letter, learn how to prepare for interviews, gaining experience. That I get a lot of people say, how do I do that? So things like internships are so incredibly important. And there's so much research to support that folks that participate in internships are more likely to have an opportunity after graduation, even if that might be at the organization or a similar type of organization. And then enriching, adapting your career is also really important. As we know, many things have changed over the past 5 years, things that we could not expect. And so it's really important that we continue to build those skills and experiences. And we may need to revisit the cycle at some point to, again, think about ourselves and our options. We provided a little sample roadmap. And again, I always start with that exploring and reflection on self, but also, again, researching these different areas of interest. What are things that stand out to you? Maybe areas that you've thought about doing. What are some similar paths? Or maybe I need to explore a little deeper into areas I haven't thought about. Exploring majors. There's so many different majors that you can explore, and they can lead to a variety of different pathways. So these can be great opportunities to do some research in areas such as the catalog or our colleges and majors page at Sacramento State to learn a little bit about the options that you have. Pick up a volunteer opportunity. So maybe you've already volunteered, maybe you've gained that experience already, but if you haven't, that can be really a life-altering experience to open your eyes to different roles and responsibilities that you could do. And so sometimes that can give you insight without a big commitment, such as an internship or a position. You may even start your first job, right? Maybe it's gaining those skill sets that you are hoping to build in, whether it's customer service or hands-on skills, right? There's so many different skills that you can gain in a different position. And many times those are also really easily transferred into other environments as well. Joining a club, whether you're in a club now, but particularly also as you get into a university setting, joining a club can be so valuable. It's connecting with people that might be like-minded or exploring that area and hearing from professionals in the field. Choosing courses, right? Sometimes just by trying a course, maybe you've identified even courses that you're taking right now that really stand out to you. So taking courses can also expose you to the material in that industry area through the course of, say, a semester. And that can be really powerful to kind of expose you to different pathways. Gaining experience, we've talked about that, which is so important to gain experience through internships, and continue to ask questions to everyone you meet, whether it's through something like an informational interview where you're talking to somebody in the field. Maybe it's talking to a career counselor once you get here to Sacramento State, your college advisors. It's really important to keep those conversations flowing, and so that you can learn more and gather more about your resources and tools to support you as you go through this process. So we're going to start with a little activity. And it's called the Guess the Major activity. And we know that you're not live with us today, but we do want you just to take a moment to participate in this activity. We'll take a moment to pause throughout the activity so you can think about this and kind of respond. We're going to look at a few pictures, and we want you to think about what are some of the potential majors and occupations that might be associated with these images. Some that you may think about, and some you may have to reflect and say, what else could that be? And we also want to just note that major doesn't equal career. So there can be many ways to get to the same pathway. And there are also many different majors that could lead to a variety of different types of careers. And so with that, we're going to start our activity. So the first, guess your major and occupation. We see this image here. And again, I'm going to pause and just ask you, what types of majors or careers could this entail? Some of you might be thinking, oh, that must be nursing, right? Or perhaps that's health science. But we may have never thought of other areas such as kinesiology or biology, right? Or occupational therapy. There can be so many different pathways into something like health or social services careers. In addition, you might be thinking about the different career paths. So who is this? Is it a nurse? Is it a doctor? Maybe it's a veterinarian. Maybe it's in sports medicine. Maybe it is, a social worker. So there's so many different pathways, majors and career options that you have outside of the ones that you may have even considered so far. I'm going to go ahead and pass the next one to Arya.
Awesome. So if you look at this next image, right, it looks like there's people working on a desk or a computer in an office setting. Seems like a cool office, though, lots of green plants everywhere and some cool lighting. So just going to give you a moment to kind of pause and think about what could be some occupations and majors associated with this image. So some of you might be thinking, maybe it's geology, maybe it's construction. Some other ones might be, looking at people working on the computer, that might be some sort of engineering or computer science, right? So all of those are options, right, that it could be. And for occupations, maybe it's a software engineer or an electrical engineer or even an environmental consultant, right? Looking at all the plants, that might be kind of neat to consider. So, yes. So if we look at this next image here, what kind of comes to mind as you look at this? There's some murals around, some different forms of art. So I'll just give you another minute to kind of reflect and think about, what are some majors or some occupations. So some majors that might come to mind might be art, right? Which, yes, that could definitely be a major that might be associated with this. Some other ones that might not be as direct might be anthropology, right? Or even history, ethnic studies. Some occupations might be artist or a designer, or something that might be a little bit different might be marketing, right? As we look at different images. So lots of different majors and occupations as you start looking at these images. And hopefully through this activity, you're able to kind of see that, major doesn't necessarily equal career. And one major could actually open the doors to so many different career opportunities as well. So hopefully you enjoyed that little activity. So now let's talk about some career tools. Some of the ones that we're going to be sharing with you are open access, which means that you won't need to sign in and you can utilize these tools in order to do major and career exploration. So when in doubt, you can always go to Sac State Career Center and pull up our featured tools. And I will pass it on to Michelle to kind of discuss with us some of those detailed tools.
Thank you, Aria. Yes, there's so many different resources that you have to start your exploration and research. One of those tools is California Career Zone, and California Career Zone is actually not put on through us. It's through the Department of Education here in California. They offer California Career Zone, which gives you an opportunity to do a variety of things. One is assessment. So maybe you love taking quizzes and learning about yourself. Maybe it's even for your favorite character, something fun. Well, these assessments are actually a little bit more research backed and allow you opportunity to learn more about how your interests could align with different directions as far as majors and careers. What I like about it is it really allows you to reflect and explore a little bit more. And at the same time, I would note anything that you do for 20 minutes to an hour, you probably want to put some additional thought into it, right? So it's a really good starting place, but not a good ending place. So we want to continue to do some exploration and research. A few other tools that it offers within California Career Zone, as you can see on the screen, you can look by different industry clusters. And so maybe you know that you want to do something in arts, media, and entertainment, or maybe you're really excited about energy, environment, and utilities. You can click on those categories and you can learn about a variety of occupations. You'll see here on the other side, the health, science, and medical technology. So this is one example of a industry cluster area with some of the different types of careers that could be offered under that area. And so it gives you a great opportunity to kind of explore by cluster. California Career Zone also has some really fun tools to explore budget and learn about, how much things might cost after you graduate. And so that is one fantastic tool. Another tool, and I will note the next two tools that we're going to be talking about can be found through the Career Center website. You do not need to have any kind of login to access them. Some of our other tools do require a login, but what can I do with this major and the other one that we'll talk about next are open. So as long as you click on them from our website, you should have access. What can I do with this major is pretty neat. What I like about it is it's really a brainstorming tool. So I have some folks saying, well, it doesn't list necessarily jobs or types of roles. It's really designed to help you brainstorm. And so you can see this example. This individual had looked up psychology, wondering what are some of the different types of pathways that somebody might consider related to psychology. And so you can see the areas that they offer, these sub areas in human services, like direct care. Maybe that's going into something like counseling or art therapy or case management, where maybe something more, it could be like testing and assessment, or it could be on the administration side, such as advocacy or grant writing. So it gives you some ideas. It will also give the types of employers. So again, not a specific employer, but types of employers, like maybe it's local government or nonprofits, that will allow you to kind of think outside the box for different directions that you might want to pursue with your degree. We also have, again, labor market insights, which you can access through our Sacramento State Career Center page. And one of the really powerful tools on our site is definitely labor market insights. So you can do so much with this tool. You can search by an industry cluster, much like the other site that we just talked about. You can also search based on a specific title you're looking up. And what I like about this is when you search any type of occupation here, you can learn a lot from just doing the research, whether it's looking nationwide or looking maybe by state. You'll be able to learn more about, like, what does this occupation really do? What would you be doing on a daily basis? It also gives insights into how much money you might expect to make in this area. And again, that's where it can be very helpful to kind of narrow it down and kind of think, what about California? Or you may even be able to pull some county data for an area that you're thinking about living in after graduation. Maybe you haven't thought that far ahead yet, but the information is at your fingertips to start to explore. It also gives you a sense about job trends. Do we expect that this is a growing industry, or perhaps they expect that it might be decreasing? I do want to note, we don't know the future, and neither does this tool, right? There's so much that has changed even within the last 10 years that we never would have expected, but it does give you a good sense into what they are seeing based on current trends. And so it's a great way to kind of explore and do some research and learn about the different occupations. I will also say, if you like learning about, like, what are the skills that I might need, or maybe employers that are currently doing hiring in this area, or other job titles that you might be using to do some search strategies, this is also a great tool for that. So I'd really encourage you to check it out. And you'll see, here's another example. So again, whether you search by occupation or you can search by industry, and then you can change the location.
Thank you, Michelle, for sharing those awesome tools with everyone. So we want to thank you for attending our workshop. And if you could take just a couple minutes to take a brief survey, you can scan that QR code right there, and it shouldn't take too long, but it helps us kind of reflect on what we need to change or what needs to continue to happen. So feel free to take that survey. And thank you all for attending our workshop today.
Thank you.